sometimes make $25. That wasn't a job to me. That was fun.
It was a night out with the boys.
It was adventure. It was an adventure, and that's what it's all about. That's why I've seen so much of this world, was that adventure and the fun that you have, the camaraderie, and sometimes the stupidity on the road, and the ribs and all that goes with it. It's all part of it, and I loved every minute of it.
It's a learning process, and it's out with the guys, having a good time, and you just have a lot of fun.
That's it. I lost a couple wives because of the business, but I traveled too much. And
they come and go. They're like city buses. Every 20 minutes a new one comes by. That's the way I look at it. I might get on that bus or I might not. It depends on what kind of shape it's in.
There you go.
Let's talk about that book you have here.
Oh, yeah. Big Bill Anderson Remembers the School of Wrestling. It's got about 400 pictures in it, Rick. It's something it was... I want to do about 3 books is what I had in my mind a couple years ago. And this book in particular was the first one I did because I wanted to pay tribute to some of the men and women that came through my school through the years that I trained. And obviously Sting and Magnificent Mimi, who was a former AWA champion. Rob Van Dam did some TV shows out of my school, good friend. Frankie Kazarian, who's on TNA Wrestling right now. Nikita Koloff was a friend, came through my school and just promoted my school a lot. Jan Flame, Christopher Daniels, you see him on TNA. Missy Hyatt, Ultimate Warrior. Louis Spicoli, my dear friend. Very, very good friend that passed away. But I had Paul Bearer from WWE did my forward for my book, which I was quite honored, and he stepped forward and did my forward. And just some pictures of my son in here when he was 2 years old, and my ex-wife with Paul Bearer and The Undertaker, and Killer Kowalski and myself, and some good friends. But the book is a tribute to the people that gave me a way of living for many years that I didn't need a job because my students, they were paying me to train them, but they became my friends too.
Right.
These guys became dear friends.
That's the way it happens.
The book is full of photos of all my friends and students, women, men, midgets, everything in between that came through my school. And I put in here a lot of newspaper articles that came out on the school. Kay Baxter was going to come to my school, Rick, the night before. She died in a car accident. Jack Armstrong had set her up to come train with me. I paid tribute to this lady because I felt I owed it that she was going to be a student of mine. And I was so proud of the fact I was going to train a world-class bodybuilder in pro wrestling. And Jack set it up. And she died. And she died the night before she was going to start training with me.
I remember
when it was on Mulholland Drive. She died. And I think this is a picture from a convention, the same convention you were at a part of in Anaheim back in the 80s, early 80s. And
it was Wally Boyko's show.
Yes, yeah. And you were there too.
I had a booth.
You had a booth, and I took pictures with Kay Baxter, became friends. But the book is a tribute that I wanted to get my first book out of the way by paying tribute to my students that came through. Here's my webmaster, Jim Morgan. Some more, Ricky Ataki. You know Ricky Ataki, good friend, and Tim Patterson. I know you know Tim.
Sure.
And Melissa Anderson, Doug Anderson's daughter. Yeah. You know Doug from the old days.
Sure,
and,
I hear from once in a while.
So these are my friends, my people that meant a lot to me in my life, and that's why certain people made the cover, certain ones didn't. You can't put 400 people on a cover.
No.
But I did the best I could. But
only if it's a mob scene.
There you go. The book is a tribute, full of photos and some stories on some of the people. And it's available at my website at www.bigbillanderson.com. And
I'll flash it on this.
Yeah, it's $20 for the book, and I do charge like $4.95 for shipping and handling, but it's pretty reasonable. I'll autograph it, personalize it to anybody that buys it. There's a great story in here from Percy Pringle III, who became Paul Bearer with the WWF, that he did my forward, and he honored me by saying some very, very, very nice things about me. So it's very cool, and a lot of people have had very good responses by reading this, and I've enjoyed hearing from fans and friends, and I'm also on Facebook and that kind of thing too. But the book has been very good, and it's the first in a series of books I want to do. The first one, like I said, I wanted to accomplish it, knock it out by dedicating it to my students. I'm working on my autobiography called I Carry the Scars.
Oh, nice.
And it's about the inner and outer scars of being a professional wrestler. Obviously, the outer scars are obvious. It's the inner scars, the sacrifices that you give up, the pain, the tears, the laughter, and all that goes into being a pro wrestler. That's what I Carry the Scars is going to be all about. So that's something I'm still working on. I've done about 100 pages in the book. It's not going to be such a photo book like this book is. It's going to be a text book style, a smaller format. and it's going to have some photos, of course, but I wanted this book dedicated to students, so it's out of the way. The next one is kind of dedicated to my life and some other special people that came through in my life that meant a lot to me. Certain friends, like obviously, like you're not in this, or Jack Armstrong. Certain friends are not in that I want to have in another book. Carl Lauer from the CAC and people that meant a lot to me will be in my next book, in stories about them and things that involve in my life.
So they can get this on BigBillAnderson.com.
That's it.
And it's $20, and I think you guys should take a look at it and buy it. It's got a ton of nice photos in it.
Yeah.
Something you'll want to keep on your coffee table. That's really, really
good.
nice.
Yeah, and I've had some great wrestlers purchase this book already. Jimmy Valiant came up to my stand at the Cauliflower Alley Club and bought one. I talk about an honor when a legendary wrestler buys your book. Are you kidding me?
Of course.
It's like that's the utmost of anything. I had the Insane Clown Posse out here. You know who they are, Rick?
Yeah.
I know we're a little bit old for that kind of music and stuff, but guy came up, the head guy from Insane Clown Posse, bought one of my books at the last convention in L.A.
Nice.
I was thrilled to death, you know. And it's like, are you kidding me? He says, yeah, I want one of your books. How much is it? It's like, I almost give it to you, but I'm not. But no, it's a real honor, and it's a thrill having something done. I needed to get this book accomplished because I talked about it for years, and there's one thing about talking and another thing about doing.
Exactly.
And
we talked about
that.
that.
Yeah, you are the great entrepreneur of all time about getting things accomplished and staying busy. So I needed to get something in the works done so I could say, okay, first project's done. Now I need to work on some other projects.
Now you're on a roll.
Exactly. So that this was the big thing for me to get done to start with.
Well, we've run out of time, and this is going to be 2 segments, I think, because we did use it, which is great for me. But I'm really happy you came by and that you did Rick's Corner with me.
Rick, you're the greatest.
Friends for life.
Friends for life. Friends for life.
Keep an eye on Bill. He's got things going. Get the book and watch for the next one because I want to see it too. There'll be some good stories in there. Until then, stay tuned to Rick's Corner because we're going to be bringing more your way.